Business challenges have changed. They're quicker, bigger, more disruptive. So is that worrying or exciting? How do today's successful leaders think? We're on a mission to find out.
120 ways to allocate 5 people, 5 jobs.
This is how they plan projects, think, structure, solve and succeed.
If I have 15 people to allocate to 15 jobs, there are now 1 trillion possible solutions.
Inspiring you to look at things from a different perspective, to see the bigger picture, to change the game.
I'm quite a rational decision maker as well.
In computer science, there's a concept that comes from actually evolutionary theory, where there's this sort of trade-off between exploration and exploitation. You want some sort of mechanism to randomly, potentially explore the landscape, to identify new opportunities that you might not have thought about, and then once you've identified a new opportunity, you want to sort of exploit that opportunity as maximally as possible. I think some organisations potentially are too exploratory and don't kind of focus and leverage what they've managed to identify as being valuable, and some organisations are too kind of just focused on their one thing. So how do you find this balance between exploration and exploitation? And it comes back to these different ways and different systems of thinking. You've got your instinct, you've got your gut, which is very valuable in some cases, but also sometimes it's not so valuable. And the example actually I like to use, and this comes from Daniel Kahneman's book Thinking Fast and Slow, that if I said to you that the combined price of a bat and a ball is £1.10, and the bat is £1 more than the ball, how much is the ball? Most people say 10 pence. That's what your gut says. Actually, it's not. The bat is £1.05, the ball is 5 pence, the combined price is £1.10. So there are lots and lots of examples where using your gut or your intuition is wrong. And there are lots of examples where using your intuition is right. And I think it's figuring out what are the right things you should be applying those systems to. And again, another example that I like to use is if you've got 5 staff members that you need to allocate to 5 jobs, there are actually 120 possible solutions, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. There's 120 ways to allocate 5 people to 5 jobs. If I have 15 people to allocate to 15 jobs, there are now 1 trillion possible solutions. Now, to expect a human to actually solve that maths problem, we're wasting our time. And if you reach 60 people to allocate to 60 jobs, then there are more possible solutions than there are atoms in the universe. Now, Kyndryl and WPP have more than 60 people in our organisation. We've got over 100,000 people in our organisation. So there is a sort of an intuition that maybe human beings are the right people to solve this maths problem. And actually, the reality is that algorithms can solve this maths problem significantly better. So I think it's figuring out what are the right technologies, what are the right approaches to solving the right problems, where is it where we need to enhance or maximize the human intuition, and where is it actually that humans are not necessarily the best decision makers and it should be applied, we should be applying algorithms or AI. In media and marketing, my job in WPP is to optimize the end-to-end supply chain, optimize marketing, to be able to create ads, test those ads against audiences, to predict the performance, and then push those ads across channels to maximize return on investment. That's my focus. But it's to then free up and enhance human creativity. In a world where marketing is sort of solved, the only differentiator for a company is human creativity, and then it's tapping into those instincts, those gut feelings about where a creative idea might work for a particular brand and a particular product. And that actually comes back to WPP's purpose, which is to use the power of creativity to make a better world. And my job is to figure out how do we enhance and accelerate human creativity.
So I feel I have had moments in my life where I had gone with my gut feel, and other times I'm quite rational as well. So although I self-declare myself as a eros, right, I have moments that, especially for the big decisions, I'm quite a rational decision maker as well. So I think, as you say, it's finding the right moment for each one of both, and come up with kind of a medium ground, I think. Yeah. Especially, for example, taking jobs, I have followed my gut feel quite a lot. But if it was a big job, I will also do let's do the pros and cons and be very rational.
So it's going to sound a bit strange, but I found out in my 30s that a lot of people, maybe you do have like a narrative, an internal monologue, like a voice in your head, I assume. Do you?
Yes,
like,
yes.
Most people either have many voices or some voice. Turns out there are some people, including me, that don't have any voice. So I've got there's no narrative that goes on in there. And you should Google it. It's not having an inner monologue. And so the way that I make decisions actually is through my intuition, my body. And so I absorb information and then try to figure out whatever is going on in there, and then the answer pops out. So yeah, I think we need to acknowledge that there are different people that think in different ways, and this is really only just starting to become known, that people have very different ways of thinking about things.
That's so interesting, actually. I'm just managing the art or mastering the art of quieting that little voice that I have sometimes.
I think that's why people meditate, is they try and kind of quieten the chatter. It's never made any sense to me at all until my 30s, and I realised, oh my God, there's this whole world of things that are going on in people's heads that I'm not even aware of.